Where did your journey start?
So growing up, I am the middle child. I have two sisters, and I was the tallest and also largest in terms of physical build. And so very early on, I noticed that I was larger. And I was also the more athletic one. So I did sports, and soccer was my main sport. And I think around fourth grade, um, this was when it kind of clicked to me that I'm fat or that I need to do something to lose weight. Is I was in a space with my cousins, and a comment, there was a scale there, and I weighed more than my cousins, and a comment was made that you weigh a lot for a girl. And so that really that like affected me. And I was like, oh, whoa, like I'm bigger than my sisters and I do weigh a lot for a girl. So I need to lose weight. And I was 9. And so I just became really self-conscious of that. And so I like would limit what I would eat. And so that kind of started my bad mindset. And then going into junior high and high school, it was kind of like what I thought, if I lose weight, I'll be better at soccer. I'll be better at singing. I'll be better if I lose weight. So my identity was in losing weight. And it was really sad because like people would always tell me like, you're beautiful. You're so beautiful. And I was like, well, my face is beautiful, but my body's ugly. And so like because I thought I was fat. And so it was just like this identity in my physical appearance. And so that was like what I dealt with like as a child. And so it got into like this place of binging and not eating and binging and just like this really unhealthy cycle. And in college, I was like, I can't, like, I don't like this. I don't want to be this way. I hate that I'm always thinking about what I can and I can't eat. I want to just be free. And it was like this literal thing where I was thinking about food all the time. I was thinking about food all the time and the way I appeared to people. And so it was this like vicious cycle. And so that's really what like pressed me into wanting to like learn more about food and how to fuel my body. So I actually became a personal trainer while I was still dealing with all of this, which I don't think that's like a good thing, but that's where I was and that's what happened. And so then I think I developed orthorexia, which means I can only eat clean food. And if I don't eat clean food, then I binge, which still enforces the disorder that was still there. And so um, at that point is when I stepped into CrossFit community. And there's where I really learned about like macronutrients and fueling your body. It wasn't about appearance. It was more about performance and like allowing for your body to be functional, so that you could like live alive. And that was really where it started to shift for me, because I started to learn more about macros and things like that, and also how to how to enjoy food. And then it's been a journey from there, because I learned I like to I I'm at the place now where I'm really into like macros, but also into like going into intuitive eating, because I don't think we're created to like count things all the time. But for me, what really helped me to overcome was learning how different foods fueled my body. So learning that like a carb gives me energy. So carb is good, gives me energy. Learning that protein like sustains my muscle and that fat is good for my organs. Like those things really helped and supported me in overcoming. And so I think it's good to like have an awareness of that, but not to like be thinking about it all the time, and like allowing yourself to have fellowship meals. Cause like it's good for I hate it when people call things cheat meals, because I'm like, it's not bad for you to enjoy friends and community and your life. Like that's good for your soul. There's a reason they call it soul food. But it's just like learning how to be human and how to have this rhythm. And so that's kind of like, I guess, the Reader's Digest version of kind of my story with food. And what's amazing to me is like where I am now versus say like when I was 2021, because it's a completely different mental space. And I mean, there have been so many things that I've learned to that I can overcome as well, like through that. Like, I think the grace in that season was learning, wow, I can overcome and I don't have to be a slave to something. And I am able to do it with support, having support around me, and like learning and like saying that I need help, knowing that it's okay, like it's okay to reach out and it's good to reach out, and I need other people. I can't like do it on my own. So that's a little bit about my story.
So the giving yourself grace, do you think that a lot of that came from the support you got? How did you like internally take that so you can give yourself grace nowadays, coming off of all of those disordered ways of eating?
Yeah. Yeah. I think learning that one, like each day is a new day. And if I don't like to use the word like mess up, but if something like, so in my disordered mindset, right, like eating a carb was a bad thing. So I would see that as a mess up, but realizing like, oh, like carbs fuel my body, like that's good. Or like, um, realizing too, so for me, when I had like broken relationship issues, I would want to emotionally eat. So no, like being able to reach out for support when I knew that that was an issue, like when that was happening and having that awareness. I think that's something that like really has supported me. Not even then, like still now, like reaching out when I have those spaces, because like all of us, we don't graduate from being human. Like we need each other, and like in order to for us to like um receive love, like being able to reach out, like people, I feel like we have to open ourselves up, like be in this posture of openness to receive. And that's been like a newer thing, I think, for me, is learning to receive love. Anyways, I think I kind of like tangented. Did I answer the question?
You did, but I want
Okay,
to
okay.
talk more about this learning to receive love. And I'm sure that the
Mm,
receiving goes along much deeper than just love. It goes, and I'm sure it goes deeper into receiving every part of your life.
mm,
How did you start shifting into this from giving, 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 and trying to show up for everyone else to learning to receive love for yourself?
yeah. So I think that that has come from really allowing myself to, first of all, uh, be still. And that's been a word that's been over my life for the past, I think, 3 or 4 years. Because I've just been such a busy person, just trying to accomplish all of these different things. So I think the first thing was like to be still, and then um, like examination. And in that place, like allowing for God to reveal things to me. And in that place, then opening my hands to receive, and then choosing to be in this posture of receiving. So receiving, yeah, it's not just love, but I feel like um, it's all of these things, like even with like relationships, if you're not open and you don't know you're not open, then you can be like unconsciously like blocking things or pushing things away. And so just like allowing for yourself to be in this posture of openness, ready to receive the new thing. Like for me, I think like God is always doing a new thing, and we can always receive that new redemptive, restorative thing that's being done. And so I believe like that having this posture of openness, we're able to receive love, um, and we're able to receive like relationships, we're able to receive new ideas. And yeah, and so it's been this process, I would say, over the past like 3 or 4 years. I think that started with choosing to intentionally be still, and even stepping into rest, which was a big thing for me. And honestly, I'm still learning that. And this whole season that we're in, I literally had a phone conversation with a friend earlier, and I was telling her my kind of, I'm not trying to accomplish anything during these next, like, I don't know how long we're going to be on quarantine, but I want to reset my rhythms to be out of this place of rest and receiving, because like I said, I believe that there's always things that are happening that we get to receive, and we don't have to be like doing, and we get to live in this place of like joy and peace, and I think that that's not just for like certain people. I think everyone can like be in that place, and it's just choosing to receive. So
And right now, everyone's learning that rest, whether they want to or not, because we're recording
yes,
during while the quarantines are going on for the coronavirus. Uh,
yes,
it's a forced rest, whether you want it or not. And I think it's a
yes,
blessing, personally. Like you said,
yes.
the
I
God,
agree
divine,
with that.
whoever it is that you believe in, your higher source. I
Yeah.
really, like, I believe God has a plan, and his plan was for us to rest.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that that's kind of, there's been this theme, different people that I've been talking to just about rest in this season for the whole like world. And it's really interesting, like if you look at history and look at the Jews, they had this thing called Jubilee, which like was the seventh year. It was supposed to be this reset or this rest. And so someone brought that up recently to me, just about, I mean, how, but that hasn't, I mean, that hasn't happened for a long time, but just how that could be something that could be happening now for all of us, is this like reset where we're able to kind of literally change our rhythms and to let go of kind of the efficiency that I believe, like, I feel like we worship efficiency here and productivity and just being busy instead of being human. And so, yeah, I'm excited for this reset and learning how to be human again, and for deeper connections with my friends and family, and for being able to um, have a higher quality life with less noise. And I so badly want to learn to create the rhythms and take them when this space is gone, um because yeah, I feel like that, so I feel like this is a gift. And like I said before we started recording, about like, I feel like there's a grace in every season that we can receive, and I feel like we can take it with us into the next season if we like can really receive it. And so I want to receive it so that I can take it into the next season, and for all of us too, so we can like have higher quality life.
Right, rise together.
Yes, I agree with that.
So how, during this, because we are being forced to rest, and I know we all have the human experience, how do you keep overcoming? Because for me, I've had eating disorders that I'm still recovering from. How, when things just change out of the blue like this, are you still overcoming all those old thought
Mm.
patterns?
That's so good. That's such a good question. Yeah, because I mean, things don't just disappear, right? Um, so for me, something that I like practice, I'll start. Something that I practice is doing something daily that scares me, so I can practice being in a place where I'm uncomfortable, so that I can overcome. Like, for example, my dad, he has a farm, and he has duck eggs, and for some reason it like freaked me out to eat duck eggs, and I was scared for like 4 months, and then I was like, Grace Esther, you get to eat a duck egg. Like, it scares you. You will not be ruled by fear. And so I ate the duck egg, but I try to do these types of things that force me out of my comfort zone, because I think that what happens for me with my like eating issues, and even other places, like when we have heightened anxiety, we'll turn to different things, whether it's social media, whether it's food, whether it's too much alcohol, like we'll turn to different things that aren't the best for our souls and our beings. And so what I've learned is that if I can train my emotions and my soul to respond to fear in a way of not giving into it, because I feel like anxiety and fear go together. And so again, for me, the I pinpointed when I would go into the binging episodes, it would be usually some sort of broken relationship or something that was like something I couldn't control. And so if I couldn't control it, then I would like turn to food. And so being able to shift, one, training myself to step through fear, and also learning to be in this posture of receiving, that has really helped me because it allows for me to not feel like I need to be in control. And I feel like the control thing is really what shifts me to the binging, whether that is food, whether that is Netflix, whether that is social media, or anything, right? um and so those those two things, and then also the third thing I would add is the connection, and really having like a healthy constellation of relationships in your life. And I think that's something we have to fight for in our day and age. And like I a while back I was part of a community, and they would call are like close friends red pens and like editors in your life. And so when I was actually going through this, I had 3 red pens, so like editors in my life, and I would like tell them what I was going through. And so they're people I could literally call, and they could also like call me out. They had permission to do that. Or like I've shifted to using the word call me up, because it like makes this better. and and then also within that healthy constellation of relationships, you have your like editors, which are your peers, and then like people that you're pouring into, and then people that are pouring into you. And what I've noticed about my life personally is when I have kind of like an equal balancing in those spaces, I'm in a more healthy space. So I'm not the emotional imbalance, like for me, the emotional imbalance of like going towards food or binging wasn't as high, because that was more like ordered. So I would say those 3 things I found to be the most supportive, and reaching out to those things right now, especially because like things are upside down for everyone. And like I think probably the overarching thing is just like the surrender of like letting go to receive. And so I want to say this right, like letting go of the old and like mourning it, because like all of us are mourning right now. Like we're mourning plans that we had, we're mourning, like I have a friend who's going to get married, her wedding is going to be postponed. We're mourning, like I had not CrossFit, a weightlifting competition that was supposed to be yesterday. I like I didn't get to do that, and that was to help me with like getting higher numbers for American Open. So like that's didn't happen for me. So like all of us are mourning. So I feel like it's this open handedness of letting go and mourning those things, but also having the open hand so we can receive the new thing. And so I feel like that overarching in this season has been really supportive to me, like letting myself mourn and realize like, you know, things that were won't be, and like that's okay, but like receiving what is new. And I feel like those kind of go together. And so yeah, I think I said a lot. I don't know if I completely answered the question or not, but
You did. And I think that's an important thing, because I mean, that's something that I didn't even look at, is that we do have to mourn those things that we aren't able to do now. Like some of us, it's some of the simple things. Like I miss my social connection going to the grocery store because I work from
yeah.
home. And it's okay to be
Yeah.
sad about that and still see the positive. You can have both.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
So
totally.
you mentioned that you had a competition coming up.
Yeah.
And that you had, that you're mourning that you couldn't go. How do you keep your mindset in that kind of a environment to keep it uplifting and, I mean, not let your tendencies come back of this disordered, body image and food image?
Yeah, yeah. So, with weightlifting, I that sport, it's movements snatch and clean and jerk. And so what's nice about weightlifting is it's not like a physique oriented like competition. And I don't know if I would ever do something like bikini competition just because of my past. Um, What's interesting to me though is like with weightlifting, it does have weight classes, but I feel like there's been healing because it's not like it's crazy to me because like 10 years ago, I don't think I could do something that had weight classes because I would be like upset by the scale. But what's crazy, like this last year, 2019, I had a lot of transitions in my life. So I feel like this whole season, I just feel like it's more of the same because I've just had some like everything's been kind of like all over the place. Um, and there was just like not the same kind of rhythm that I had had. I moved and then I was traveling a lot. And so I think I gained like 5 or 7 pounds, but I didn't like there wasn't like in my past, it would have been a reflection on who I am. But I didn't care and it was like really not in a bad way and just like I still love who I am. And it was like this beautiful moment for me because I was like, wow, yeah, it was just like it just showed me how all of the intentionality in pursuing healing had come through. And so like then in that when my competitions got closer, I just had to be intentional about like eating clean. And then I've gotten to the point now where I'm just like I just maintain um my weight class. I mean, and if I go traveling and I like gain 5 pounds, like, like that's not, it's not a reflection like on who you are. And so I think that that's something that's just has been so encouraging for me, like seeing myself in this. And one of the, well, not, yeah, one of the reasons I do weightlifting is because when I talked about the training myself to overcome fear, growing up, I was a very shy person. I like didn't talk. I just didn't want to say the wrong thing and I wanted people to like me. And so I've had to learn how to speak up and to actually be okay with saying what I think and all of these things. And with weightlifting, you're in front of 3 judges and you have 3 opportunities to make 3 lifts. And then you have 3 more opportunities to make the other lift. And it's like it's essentially like a performance. And I used to do CrossFit competitions and that wasn't as scary because you're just moving so fast, you can't think about being anxious. But with weightlifting, you have to train your mind and your emotions to be present and to be confident. You have to be confident. You can't think you're going to miss because you will miss. And it's been for me this process of stepping deeper into learning that I am an overcomer and that I can overcome. And so each time I go to a competition, like it's training me not just for weightlifting, but for life that I get to overcome. And like, so for me, like that's why I do weightlifting, because I want to always be training myself that I can overcome and I get to do it again and again and encourage other people that like they can too. Because I I've since I was, I think, like in 8th grade, I felt like tenacity was just like lacking in our culture and this ability to get back up when we'd fallen down. And that that is what like puts you ahead, and where like things happen is when you decide to get up. And so I want to encourage other people to do that and to be like in integrity, like that's part. I mean, I love weightlifting too, but it scares me to death at the competitions. And so it's been this process of learning to overcome. And I mean, I'm still working on the mental part with my coach, like, and so, and I have victories and I have showing up, falling on my face. So part of the process.
Right? It's part of the human experience. And it's really cool that
Yes.
you've embodied this like intuitive and this grace with self. And that's what you're
Mhm.
doing with your clients too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I launched the Food, Fitness, and Rhythm Academy earlier this year, and my heart is really for women to be able to know that they can overcome. And so, again, with my journey of learning how to have good rhythms with food and fitness, I really wanted to create this like educational program. And so that's essentially what it is. So, like the ladies that are in my program right now, how it is they get their nutrition for the week and then they get workouts, but we have a check-in call on Sunday nights, and then we also have an education call during the week, and I have like a curriculum that I created with different kind of like building blocks, and I just feel like it's like a base. And my goal for them, like I was saying, like I don't want you to ever need to have a coach again because you're so educated, but I actually don't. I was thinking about that and I was like, no, like having coaches helps you to grow and learn more. And so I was like, I don't like decided to stop saying that because I don't agree with what I was saying. But what I was meaning in that is that you have this base, so you're empowered to be able to have this freedom to create these rhythms in your life and to be free. And so it's been fun because I think that's one of the things I love the most about coaching is like their wins. And when they'll text me that either they're like one of my girls, she like lost a lot of weight really fast. I mean, she had just had a baby, and so she had like gained baby weight, and so I think that's part of why it went down faster. And then one of my other girls, she just ate a lot of like highly inflammatory foods, and so we were working more like with her like gut health and like teaching her about like macronutrient balance for to have like good energy in your body. And so we've been adding in more vegetables and like anti-inflammatory foods. And so like this last week, she ate like vegetables at every meal. And I was like so proud of her because it's like baby steps to create a lifestyle where you have a higher quality life. Like, again, if you lose weight, that's great, but it's like, it's about your mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. And so it's this holistic approach. And so for me, I just I want it to be this educating and empowering academy. That's why I call it an academy, because I want to educate women on this so that they can be free to
Right.
step into their purposes in life.
And tap into their own intuition because we know what's
Yes.
best. And when you start listening to your body, it's amazing what you end up feeding yourself and how you end up moving and being and
Yes.
healing that relationship with food where there's not good or bad. It's just like,
Yes.
oh, like I started listening to my body and then I lost some weight and that wasn't about the weight, but it was just my body set point.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And that's like, it's so crazy too when you like stop trying to make something happen, like, and just kind of like let go, how things like that end up. Like that happened for me a while back when I was just like, I wasn't trying to lose weight. And it was like, and that was like 3 years ago. And it was kind of when I stepped more into intuitive eating also. And it just like, people are like, what are you doing? And I actually, for me, I was working out less and eating, quote, worse. But I was just enjoying life.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
That
And
joy
so,
is so important.
yeah. Yeah. Yes. Get to spread joy.
Right? So
Yeah.
where can people find you?
Yes. Great question. So I'm on Instagram. My Instagram is Grace_Esther_, and I'm on Facebook. My page is Encourage and Empower. And I think you can find my email on there as well. So yeah, I'd love to connect with you.
And I'll put everything in the show notes too.
Yeah.
So I always like to leave with the one big question. What is the giant golden nugget you want everybody to walk away with from this interview? If they only walk away with one thing, what is that?
One thing. I would say choose to be in an open posture of letting go and receiving, and choose to live life that way. I've been doing that recently, and it's so freeing because we can let go of things that we are expecting to happen and then open to like the new thing that's about to happen. And I've just found so much peace and joy in that. So I would, I would recommend, especially in this season of unknowns, it's a great posture to be in. So.
Well, that's awesome. I want to thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I got a ton of nuggets. I'm going back to take notes. So thank you.
This was so fun. Thank you so much for having me on. I love this so much.